Hackers is a 1995 cybercrime film starring Johnny Lee Miller and Angelina Jolie. It tells the story of a group of high school hackers dealing with a corporate conspiracy. Randall Blom of K2TV called it the best cyber film of the year, a statement that's true any year that you look at it. Basically, it's one of my favorite movies, and I want to talk about it. I probably should tell you right up front, if you're looking for an in-depth analysis or a big point at the end of all this, you might want to look elsewhere. I'm not a film student, and I'm not here to use facts and logic to prove to you why this movie's good. I really just want to talk about a movie I like, and I happen to have a microphone.
And you don't.
So you will listen to every damn word I have to say!
So what we're looking at here is my original VHS copy purchased for me as a child. It even has my name on it. Growing up with two older sisters, they had a philosophy. If there's anything I liked in the house,
I suggest you put your name on them or they will be thrown out by me.
Well, I did put my name on it, right on the cover, which makes me the professional on this particular copy of Hackers.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
According to the back of the box, the first thing you should know about this movie is that it succeeds at just about everything the net failed to. So suck it, the net. The synopsis continues. Boot up for suspense, action, and high-powered excitement as the rebels of the information age fight an electrifying battle in this sharp, cutting-edge adventure. At stake is their freedom, their pride, and perhaps even the planet. While practicing the tricks of the trade, a neophyte hacker accomplishes the nearly impossible. He hacks a highly secured Gibson computer at the Ellingson Mineral Corporation. But in doing so, he unknowingly taps into a high-tech embezzling scheme, which is masked by a virus that could cause a horrific environmental disaster. In the flash of a nanosecond, the young hacker and his pals are targeted for the crime by the FBI and Ellingson's deranged computer whiz, the Plague. When they discover the terrifying extent of the Plague's warped plans, the group pools their techno skills together to launch a massive cyberspace attack, one that will hopefully clear their names and prevent an ecological disaster of global proportions. Pulsating with non-stop action and nail-biting tension, Hackers is a hip, fast-paced spectacle the American Urban Radio Network calls an experience you will never forget. Upon insertion, you can immediately see that this tape is in rough shape, probably because I watch it a whole bunch.
Harvey, I know these briefs backwards.
We see a brief MGM.com advertisement, then we go right into the aspect ratio message that used to accompany almost every movie I ever watched. Since we're already seeing this message about the aspect ratio, that means that as much as I love a good VHS era trailer, this tape doesn't have any, and so we're gonna go straight into the movie. We begin our story in Seattle, 1988.
Seattle!
Where the police are raiding a suburban home. We then move to a courtroom, where we see that the defendant on trial is actually 11-year-old Dade Murphy. After writing a virus that crashed 1,507 computers, Dade Zero Cool Murphy is put on probation, forbidding him from owning or operating a computer or phone until the age of 18. As the opening credits begin, we hear what I always knew as the Hackers song. Palisson On and On by Orbital actually has a pretty interesting history that I won't get into right now. The song became well known for being featured not only in this movie, but other fantastic films such as Mean Girls,
Check it out. Junior Plastics.
and Mortal Kombat. Seven years later, Dade and his mom are moving to New York, and nobody has ever been more disappointed and unimpressed with New York City than our boy Dade. Just look at all that stank on that face. We see the buildings transform into a motherboard, and we get our glorious title card. We now see Dade on a computer, surrounded by still-packed boxes. He straight up tells his mom that he's
taking over a TV network,
and she ignores it, simply responding by telling him to go to bed and saying, "Happy birthday,"
to show that time had passed.
Next, we get to see Dade's social engineering skills come into play.
Norman, this is Mr. Eddie Vedder from accounting.
My BLT drive on my computer just went AWOL.
Sorry, no, it's classified in the DMC. Gotta go ASAP. You know, strictly BYOB. Bye.
We hear some truly excellent UI sounds as Dade breaks into OTV and does the same thing I would do if I had that kind of power. He deplatforms a bigot and watches a VHS. Unfortunately for Dade, right as he's about to enjoy the fruits of his first hack in 7 years, he encounters a hacker. Dade quickly comes up with a new handle, Crash Override, and we meet his foil, rival hacker Acid Burn. Of course, we can't just introduce another hacker without having the hackers fight, so we get to see the hackers fight, and it's fantastic. Let's pause here for a second. I won't get too into the weeds on this subject, but every movie or show that depicts hacking will try to put their own spin on things.
Hack 'em all.
It's hacking time.
They ran this hack in VM mode, so I'm isolating their API and just booting the host. I'm getting hacked.
It's not the 80s. Nobody says hack anymore.
Someone synced a rat to one of my servers. A remote access tool. We're being hacked.
It's not technically hacking. It's kind of...
Hold on. I just lost my train of thought. We'll isolate the node and dump them on the other side of the router.
I'm trying. It's moving too fast.
Just cracked the outer layer of our system.
We're using our connection to the APHIS database.
They're onto us. Vikram's trying to track our IP address.
This is DoD level 9 encryption.
It's a point attack.
I've never seen code like this.
We've only got 2 of the blinky boxes left to go.
Ooh, blinky boxes.
Just hack.
We'll hack the iPhone.
Hack the iPhone?
Sure. Hacking? The big red book? No. What does Matthew Lillard say?
The formula is pretty standard by now. Get a couple people to look intensely at screens, type frantically, and periodically blurt out some techno babble. If you have somebody chime in every once in a while, like,
I don't know what this fucking shit means.
that's even better. Hackers is no exception here, but along with these old standards, they throw in a bunch of random movie clips that serve two purposes. First of all, it's a clever way to show a fight on screen that would otherwise look like a bunch of hacker typer. And secondly, it acts as a nice character detail for Dade, whose thoughts play out in movie clips throughout the film. The scene also has the advantage of a killer soundtrack, as we hear the first of 2 uses of the song Voodoo People by The Prodigy.
It's a slap. Peter, it's a slap.
As the battle goes on, Dade, typing as if this is his first encounter with a keyboard, tells Acid Burn, mess with the best, die like the rest, at which point he effectively loses this fight and is booted from the network. The next morning, or like 3 hours later, Dade wakes up and is scolded by his mom, who has presumably figured out that when her son told her that he's taking over a TV network, he wasn't doing so legally. She yells some exposition as Dade showers, letting the audience know that it's Dade's senior year and she's concerned about him not getting into college if he keeps screwing up. This hangs over Dade throughout the movie. Another thing you'll see throughout the movie? Rollerblades, baby! Growing up in the 90s myself, I knew how to rollerblade and most likely learned because of this movie. That said, rollerblading was hardly a mainstream form of transportation in my neighborhood. I can't speak for everyone, but in my schools, bikes, skateboards, and even scooters outranked rollerblades. Not in this movie. Hackers would have you believe that rollerblades were the primary form of transportation in 1995. Fuck driving, fuck walking,
Fuck shoes! Shoes! Listen to this guy with shoes! You. Shoes over here.
Dade arrives at school, and of all the people to ask for help, he decides to interrupt this guy who's just trying to use the phone.
Chill, man. I'm talking to Venezuela.
So after presumably interrupting a few more preoccupied people, Dade finds his way to the office where he meets Kate, played by a young Angelina Jolie. We see another instance of Dade spacing out, and Kate gives him a brief tour. Dade is clearly interested in her, but she quickly tells him that he's not in her class.
My class? You mean I'm not in your class?
No, you're not in my class.
This, in my opinion, reads as her referring not only to a literal classroom, but social status as well. Then this old as fuck looking guy immediately clocks Dade as a new student. Maybe he just assumed that since Dade is under 40, he must be new.
I guess old kid's an alien too, huh?
How's it going?
Old kid tells Kate to tell Dade about the pool. Kate tells Dade that there's an Olympic-sized pool on the roof, and Dade goes there immediately because apparently going to class isn't a priority for him.
Hey, hold the door!
On arrival, we see a handful of other new students locked on the roof, led there under the same false pretenses.
No pool.
Then, as a cherry on top, it starts to rain.
Oh my god, he found the pool.
Dade hacks his class schedule to match Kate's, which catches the attention of our leopard-clad friend from earlier. He introduces himself by his handle, the Phantom Freak, and invites Dade to Cyberdelia, which, if the name is anything to go by, is some kind of technologically advanced deli. We also get our first look at Joey, but we'll talk about him more later. Naturally, when it's time to go to Cyberdelia, Dade rollerblades there. We get a brief look at Matthew Lillard's serial killer outside as he tries to move his mixtape, and Dade heads into the club. Cyberdelia is basically a cyber cafe that's been set up in and around an empty pool. If you've watched Buffy, this is basically the bronze for our protagonist, but with more rollerblades. Dade sees Kate playing an early prototype of the game Wipeout. She dominates the leaderboard, but Dade still negs her.
That's a nice score for a girl!
And beats her score easily. Freak tells Dade that he's
Just made an enemy for life.
And then Kate leaves with her boyfriend Curtis. We spend some more time with the gang at school. First, Dade hacks the sprinklers to go off as revenge for the pool prank.
Pool on the roof must have a leak.
We also see Kate and Dade in the advanced English class that they now share, where their assignments are to write a quote up on the board. We get a peek at Kate's absurd handwriting, and we also get another appearance from Serial Killer, who crashes classes during the day.
You, however, are not on my list.
Whoa, this isn't woodshop class?
Dade and the audience finally get a formal introduction to serial killer at Cyberdelia.
Eyes on Fruit Loops. But he does know things.
The crew discusses some hacking literature,
International Unix environments, computer security criteria, DoD standards, Pink Shirt Book, Guide to IBM PCs, Devil Book, Unix Bible, Dragon Book, compiler design, the Red Book, NSA Trusted Networks, otherwise known as the ugly red book that won't fit on a shelf.
The big red book? No. What does Matthew Lillard say?
and the plot of the movie begins to unfold. Basically, Joey, the only character who's actually high school aged in this movie, is a newer hacker trying to make a name for himself.
I don't have an identity until I have a handle.
Joey, one more dude at you and I'm gonna slap the shit out of you, okay? You gotta stop letting your mama dress you, man. You hopeless. Where are your brains, in your ass?
Stupid, man. It's universally stupid.
God damn it, man. I swear you guys rip on me 13 or 14 more times. I'm out of here.
Up until this point, all of Joey's hacks have been small time. But if you want to make a name for yourself in this world,
You gotta do a righteous hack. None of this accidental shit.
Serial brings up how impressive it would be if somebody were to hack a Gibson.
Supercomputers they use to, like, do physics and look for oil and stuff.
And Joey has a goal. Immediately after being warned against hacking from his house, we catch up with Joey, hacking from his house. Despite discussions of high security, it turns out that these supercomputers are actually protected by 3 to 6 character non-numerical passwords. Joey chooses a garbage file at random to prove that he hacked a Gibson.
Garbage, okay, give me garbage.
Then, to celebrate, he manages to smoke a cigarette in his bedroom without his mom knowing, so he was on a roll.
Dead. Sleep. Now.
Speaking of being on a roll, we're now introduced to Fisher Stevens the Plague as he rolls in the frame on a skateboard.
Never fear. I is here.
Eugene the Plague Belford is an ex-hacker who is now employed by Ellingson Mineral Corporation, the owners of the computer that Joey decided to hack into. Joey's download of the file was interrupted by his mother, but not before the Plague and Hal, played by Penn Jillette, catch on to Joey's activity and trace him back to his house.
He's gone. Did you get a trace?
Yeah, we got him.
Meanwhile, Dade continues to bond with Freak and Serial. He asks them if they've ever heard of another hacker called Acid Burn, which they deny.
You know who he is?
No. Don't know who he is.
Step 3. I re-examine my personal biases.
Dade is then introduced to another hacker, Lord Nikon.
What, your mom buy you a pewter for Christmas?
As well as the show Hack the Planet.
Welcome to our show! Hack the Planet!
Hack the planet!
You want me to hack the planet?
Hack the Planet is a TV show hosted by hackers Razor and Blade.
Blade. Laser. Laser.
Here, we see our host explain the payphone trick that we've seen Freak using throughout the film.
Please deposit $5 for the first minute. Thank you.
No, thank you.
We also meet Agent Gill as he arrests Joey for hacking into Ellingson Mineral. The guys are literally watching footage of the raid on Joey's house and don't even realize it. At Ellingson Mineral, we learn that Joey is being blamed for planting the Da Vinci virus, which threatens to capsize several oil tankers unless a ransom is deposited into an anonymous account. It turns out the garbage file that Joey chose contained potentially incriminating information that belonged to the Plague. To protect himself, the Plague planted the Da Vinci virus so he could bring in Agent Gill and arrest and track Joey.
Things that we can't do on our own.
Plague explains all of his evil machinations to Margot Wallace, his partner in crime and head of public relations at Ellingson Mineral. Margot's played by Lorraine Bracco, and I really feel the need to take a second to appreciate this performance, because it's interesting? Yeah, let's go with interesting.
I see we're still dressing in the dark, Eugene. Virus? Excuse me.
What are you talking about?
What, it left a note? So what are we supposed to do? What the hell was that all about?
What are you talking about?
What? Why did I ever trust you? Pervert. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What is it? What's wrong? What's happening? Rabbit, flu shot, someone talk to me. Cancer? Colonel who? Cancer, brain cancer.
What are you talking about?
The cops release Joey in the hopes that he'll lead them to the source of the virus. He is promptly grounded, but we see these cops tailing Joey and the gang for the rest of the movie. Elsewhere, we see Plague playing a game on his Oculus Rift 95. Gill brings him Dade's file,
Hard copy.
and the police proceed to raid his house, which finally seems to be unpacked. Plague tries to get Dade to turn on his friends, but he clearly knows that snitches get stitches. The cops leave, then, to remind us where Dade's head is at, he has a sexy dream about Kate, where they're interrupted by a police raid. Cut to a party at Kate's house, where we get to see some more amazing outfits, see Nikon using his photographic memory to creep, and also see that there's a cop at the party. In Kate's bedroom, the guys check out Kate's computer.
Check this out, guys. This is insanely great. It's got a 28.8 BPS modem.
Yeah? Display?
Actimatrix, man. A million psychedelic colors.
This beast's got 500 horsepower and a Borley exhaust system. It does 0 to 60 in like 4.3 seconds.
That's about right. That's about right.
Wow. You can read the brochure.
But they're interrupted as Kate and Curtis burst into the room making out. The guys creep for a bit and Nikon shows off the Spy Kids glasses. The guys get caught after Nikon refers to Kate as Burn and Dade blurts it out. They mention her computer and she barely even cares that they are watching her. How long would they have stood there?
Oh, dude, how long have you been standing there?
An hour.
An hour?
Anyway, Kate is acid burned and nobody is more excited than Serial, who already has a cute couple name for her and Dade.
I'm Crash Override.
You're the moron that's been invading my turf?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Crash and burn.
Dade continues to check out Byrne's computer and even mansplains the specs to her at one point.
It's not just the chip, it has a PCI bus. But you knew that.
I know that. I'm not stupid. I'm smarter than you.
The two butt heads and a gauntlet is thrown.
Sure this sweet machine's not going to waste?
What was it? Mess with the best, die like the rest.
Yeah.
Are you challenging me?
Dade and Kate will compete to hassle Agent Gill in retaliation for arresting Joey. If Kate wins, Dade basically becomes her unpaid intern, and if Dade wins, Kate has to go on a date with him.
Talking to me?
We get another hacking montage, followed by Kate having a sexy dream about Dade in a dress. Elsewhere, Joey has been ungrounded, so he takes the incriminating disc out of his super secure porno hidey hole and brings it to Freak. Joey gets followed by our favorite undercover cop, so Freak gets arrested.
What are you waiting for? Arrest me already!
Thankfully, Freak was able to hide the disc, and he uses his one phone call in jail to let Kate know.
It's in that place where I put that thing that time.
Kate retrieves the disc, then her and Serial go to Dade's to ask for help figuring out what's on it. Because Joey's mom interrupted the download, the file is fragmented, but they know this disc is important because
everybody who touches that thing gets busted. I can't afford to get arrested. I'm sorry.
Dade won't help, but agrees to make a copy of the disc in case anybody else gets arrested. Dade makes a copy of the disc, but he doesn't have it for long. Plague, who's been periodically threatening Dade throughout the movie, finally strikes a nerve when he threatens Dade's mom. Dade gives the disc to Plague, then gives him a head start for some reason before running after him ineffectually. Maybe if you had your rollerblades, you would have caught him, buddy. Dade goes to admit what he did to Kate, but is pulled into another hacking montage. They learn that what's on the disc isn't a virus, but a worm that ends its run in a couple days.
It isn't a virus. It's a worm.
The worm eats a few cents from each transaction. And when the worm's ready, it zips out with the money and erases its track.
Joey got cut off before he got to that part.
This sounds familiar.
Yeah, they did in Superman 3.
Right.
Yeah. Underrated movie, actually.
Dade then admits that he was approached by Plague earlier because
I was zero cool.
Yo, man, this is zero cool! Oh, shit, that's far out. This is zero cool, man!
The gang then decides that they need to hack the Gibson, and they all need to help.
With me, we can do it in 7.
I help we do it in 6.
I help. We could do it in 5 minutes.
The gang knows they're short on time, so they start prepping right away. Dade and Kate go dumpster diving at Ellingson Mineral, then when they're almost caught, Kate scares off security with a flare gun.
My subway defense system.
Meanwhile, Nikon and Serial steal a manual for interfacing with traffic lights. Serial plants a listening device on Gil's phone, and Nikon goes to Ellingson to get passwords using his photographic memory. Plague also knows that he's running out of time, so he launches the virus to get the Secret Service to put warrants out for our protagonists.
Get me arrest warrants on Kate Libby, alias Acid Burn, Emmanuel Goldstein, alias Serial Killer, Dade Murphy, alias Crash Override, also known as Zero Cool, and Paul Cook, alias Lord Nikon.
I know these names better than I know my own grandmother's.
Gil issues the warrants, and Nikon and Serial hear this through the wire and warn the others. They group up, recap the plot,
Infecting ballast programs of Ellingson tankers. They blame hackers.
and Kate takes Dade to a concert to try to recruit Razor and Blade for help.
We come in peace?
Razor and Blade suggest that our heroes form an electronic army.
That's it. An electronic army.
Hackers of the world unite.
Dade hacks the traffic lights, and the gang rollerblades to escape the cops and get to Grand Central Station where the hacking will take place. This is also where we get our second use of the song Voodoo People.
It's a slap. Peter, it's a slap. I'm really sorry. It's a good song, and I don't even listen to that shit.
At Grand Central Station, the gang wires through the payphones, and we're soon back in cyberspace. The goal is for the gang to overload the Gibson with as many viruses as possible while Dade and Kate try to find the original incriminating garbage file and download it. The depiction of viruses largely consists of vulgar screensavers and data being eaten in a Pac-Man-like fashion.
Replicating, eating up memory. What do? We have a zero bug attacking all login and overlay files.
Run antivirus. Give me a systems display.
Rabbit is in the administration system.
Send a flu shot.
It's the Gibson. It's finding us too fast.
Too many garbage files. I need more time.
Dade receives a call from Plague, who wanted to talk some shit.
Game's over. Last chance to get out of this without a prison sentence. You're not good enough to beat me.
Yeah, maybe I'm not. We are, you asshole.
Then Kate gets a call from Razor and Blade, who have assembled the Hacker Avengers.
Captain Sam, can you hear me?
Are we fashionably late?
Okay, let's go.
OK、用意できたからやってみよう。
Gato. Поехали.
Sì, sono pronta. Andiamo.
As the hackers around the world bombard the Gibson, everybody but Joey has been locked out. Dade tells him where the worm is, Joey downloads it fully this time, and the Hacker Avengers take out Ellingson Mineral.
Come on, you son of a bitch. Is that all you got, huh? Come on, let's see what else you can do. You talking to me? Huh? Are you nuts? Come at me. Pissant.
The gang gets arrested, but on the way out, Dade tosses the disc into the garbage and gets that information to Serial.
Trashing our rights, man! They're trashing the fluid data! They're trashing! 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 Hack the planet! Hack the planet!
Shut up and get in the car!
Hack the planet! Hack the planet!
You want me to hack the planet? He wants me to hack the planet.
Serial digs the disc out of the trash, and while our heroes are in custody and the bad guys are celebrating, he appears on TVs across the country to spread the truth.
Hola, boys and girls. It is I, the serial killer, making my first coast-to-coast, worldwide, global television appearance. Yes, that's right. I'm here to tell you about this heinous scheme hatched from within Ellingson Mineral. But why? Could it be to cover the tracks of this worm program? A worm that was to steal 25 million bucks. The password to this hungry little sucker belongs to Margot Wallace, head of public relations for Ellingson Mineral. What's this? Is this the unnamed account in the Bahamas where the money was to be stashed? I think so. Lucky!
Plague disappears within seconds.
Plague? Eugene!
The gang goes free, and we see Margot get taken into custody.
How many of errors? I don't even know how to work a VCR, let alone a computer. Get off! Look, listen, I'll make a deal. Eugene Belford. I know where his mother is. I promise you. Get off of me. I need a lawyer.
We catch up with Plague attempting to flee to Japan in a very convincing disguise. He's arrested by Gil, who waited until the plane was in the air to make his move just because he loves drama.
What's going on? Let go of me! Stewardess! I'll never fly this airline again!
It's the end of our journey, and Kate and Dade are on a date, with Dade being declared the winner of their competition.
Guys felt it was the only way I'd get a date.
You couldn't get a chick if you had a $100 bill hanging out of your zipper.
I don't even know why I hang out with you guys.
Because you're a piece of shit.
I am not a piece of shit.
Well, yeah, but you're a little bitch. Sure.
As they swim in a rooftop pool, Dade shows off just one more time, revealing that he hacked the lights on the skyline to say crash and burn. Dade and Kate share a kiss, and we roll credits. So what did we learn?
I don't know, sir.
I don't fucking know either. I guess we learned not to do it again.
Yes, sir.
I'm fucked if I know what we did.
Yes, sir. It's hard to say.
Jesus fucking Christ.
There is one person that I absolutely have to thank, and that person is me. Me, myself, and I. I did it all by myself. Nobody helped me.
Turns out this YouTube shit is actually a lot of work. I was gonna wait until I had a few videos under my belt before I did this, but if you appreciate what I do and want to support my work, please consider subscribing to my Patreon. Also, remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.